Your ladies is live.
Well, good evening, everybody, and thank you for joining us live from the Huddle in Nutley, New Jersey today. They will also be celebrating the 5th year anniversary of their place. Please come down and join us. We will be here for a few hours. I'm here going to be helping out Miss Goddess.
Hey.
Unfortunately, my show tonight is not going to air. I will be having my guest on Friday at 7:30. So you guys should tune in. It's going to be an epic story to hear. All right, let's go.
Hey.
What is your topic
What's
tonight,
going on,
girl?
everybody? Welcome to this week's edition of Grown Talk with Goddess. I'm so excited. Listen, there was this little old lady that was in here a little while ago. I really wish she was still here because
it was definitely fun.
She definitely would have looked crazy, sitting here.
She might have walked over here, to be honest.
All right, so good week, everybody, this week. For me, ups and downs. I've been single now for 4 days.
Shut up.
I'm enjoying this.
Nobody believes that shit.
I'm going to get to her at the end of the show. We gotta talk.
I swear to God, I have been single now for 4 days.
Show of hands, who believes that shit? Exactly.
Nobody's raising hands.
Nobody believes that
Not one soul-searching person in here.
I'll be honest with you, she's been cheating on her man since day one.
No, she has not.
I haven't.
Stop that.
I haven't. But we're not together anymore.
But anyways, let's go. Who cares?
Yes. So I wanted to make that announcement live for everybody.
So she is single and available and ready to mingle.
Yeah.
So we're taking resumes.
All right, so if you've watched my show in the past, which a lot of you have, shout out to everybody who's out there, you know that my show is based off of Facebook questions. I'll put a question up for the week, and or for the day in this case, and we'll talk about it, generate a good enough amount of comments to turn into like a conversation. And my shows are definitely more sex-based. So if there's anybody out there that has any questions.
If there's anybody that had not had sex, you can leave.
All right, so we're gonna get to the first question that I put up on Facebook, which I'm actually arguing on the post with this young lady right now as we speak.
Okay, let's go.
Shout out to Michelle Childs. The question was, why is it okay for a woman to live at home with her mama? But if a man does, he's classified as less than a man or needs to grow up and man up.
All right, so hold on. The question is, why is it okay for a woman to live at home with her mother?
Yes.
But
And not
it's
for a
not
man.
okay for a man to live at home with his mother.
Well, he'll be classified as less than a man if he's living at home with his mom.
So, okay.
So it actually generated a very good amount of comments on my Facebook page, and some people went deeper to the deepest deep. Did you want to say something, Prodigy?
Yeah,
What do you think the reason is?
well, traditionally the woman was supposed to stay at home until she gets married and then go out with the man. That's probably why people think that it's okay for a woman to stay at home, and a man's supposed to be on his feet, going out and going through life and doing his thing. So traditionally, a woman is supposed to stay at home with the parents until she gets married.
So I have a question. So what kind of tradition is this? Because in Europe, men live with their parents until they leave the house. Where I grew up, no man leaves the house until they are ready to say, I do.
I never heard that before.
Ma'am, I'm telling you.
I've never heard that either.
Yes, in Italy, Italian men don't leave their mother until they are ready to say I do to the female, period.
Wow, I never heard
So my son, he's 22. I mean, I'm hoping he stays with me till he does. So, yeah, I'm just saying.
My son is 20. I want him to get the fuck on.
No, the only one that I want him to just leave is the 18-year-old. Because he's like outgoing and all that, but my 22-year-old needs some TLC still. So, that's all.
Truth, on my post, you commented it's because women and men are different. And I asked you if you wanted to elaborate. I guess we were going to choose some.
So, I mean, unfortunately, when you look at society tells everyone that men are providers and women are, the individuals that actually stay and take care of home. But to me, I always say it's more lines of the parenting. Unfortunately, you have a lot of people that do live with the home at the age of, early age. But because in minority cultures, we're taught to stay out of grown folks' business when it comes to breaking up the bills. How do I pay rent? How do I sustain? So when you're not taught how to manage a budget, when you move out, the first thing you do is immediately come back. Because the first thing you do is you spend up all your money, you ain't pay rent, utility bills not getting paid, so immediately you have to move back home. So for me, I think this really takes part in the home where a lot of individuals aren't being taught how to sustain themselves outside of the home of the mother and father.
We're enablers, basically. Like enablers.
How about you put them, I don't know, why you acting like you shy with mics and shit in your face? Thank you, exactly.
I'm used to having a held position in my face.
Well, then hold it properly.
Yeah.
What did you say?
No, I mean with the stand.
I'm saying, what was the comment? Put the mic up and what was the comment? No, put it towards your face like you want to come. Thank
Got
you.
it. All right, I'm sorry. I just don't want my beautiful face covered.
We got you.
All right, shout out to Eric Daniel Ash. He said that if men live with their mom, there could be a reason he does. Like if he takes care of her and that's all they know, most men, it's accepted to still be in the house with their mom.
Well, also, unfortunately, what I think a lot of parents don't do, to me personally, I think a lot of parents' job should be not to be a burden on their kids. And unfortunately, this is something that continues to happen in our daytime where, a lot of kids grow up in a household, as soon as they get a job, their parents has their fucking hand out. So obviously that child cannot sustain themselves. So they get into that part where they're not burdened, but looking upon or needing help to sustain other situations. So again, we're not self-sustaining. Like if you working for a job and the first thing you get a job, the first paycheck, your parent got your hand out, you are not able to survive off your check itself. So me personally, I think parents, their number one job should be is not to be a burden on their kids. The money you make is for you to be out there, do what you do, pay your cell phone bill, save up, get a car, whatever the situation may be. It shouldn't be, you got $200, give me $150 because I want to go out and party.
Okay, I agree with that to an extent.
Okay.
But I would say, I don't think a parent should ask her child to give her money to go out or to buy her whatever. I think if they're working and they're living in the household, they have to contribute, period.
I guess.
I don't think there's...
I wouldn't take anything from my son because I want him to get out faster. So therefore, if I take less, then you'll have more in your pocket.
Yeah, I understand, but some of them, they spend that. So sometimes it's better off taking it and, I would say taking it and putting it in an account for them. If you really want them to leave.
I agree. I think
I'm going to spend my son's money when he gives it to me, sorry.
I think, like I tell my son, like when you get your job there, you split your check in half. Half the money goes in the bank gaining interest, the other half is for you to survive on. But unfortunately, especially in a lot of black cultures, what's pretty much happening is, the kids are pretty much paying the bills, while the parents are kind of like relaxing and chillaxing. So again, the child isn't able to sustain themselves. So unfortunately, I think that's really happening a lot in a lot of communities.
Shout out to Tony. I know he's watching.
What's good, Tony?
Hey, Tony. He texted me right before to find out when we was going on. He wrote this big ass long paragraph like always.
Let's read it.
He says, shit, I'll be honest, I don't know too many women still living with their mama. If anything, the mama is living in her house. However, for the sake of argument, I think there's an expectation for men, more so than a woman, to have men are supposed to still living with their parents or bouncing around from one family member's house to another and are quick on how they're going to save money. Nobody really knows until questions are asked, and that's the problem. We're too quick to assume shit instead of gathering more information. I'm gonna kill you, Tony. Not all women are living their best life just because they have their own shit. All in all, it's a matter of pride. I guess.
Shout out to Tony. He's always a great follower.
He's always a damn story writer.
Well, I mean, that's goes to show his passion about it.
Well, you need people like that too,
Yeah.
to keep you.
I was live with him the other day on Facebook, by the way. That was
Yeah, I saw that. That was crazy.
I don't even want to talk about that.
Yeah, I don't think you want to talk to people about how you're getting paid for sex. and
I'm
shit.
not a prostitute. I'm not a prostitute. I
Ain't nobody say that.
Listen, I just know what it's worth, and he told me what it was worth too, and he gave it to me.
We're going to ask the audience that question later, because especially there's a lot of women in the building, so I definitely want to ask that question.
Fine.
Let's go back to the comments.
All right. Noah Darrell Burnett, he said, men are ordained by God to be the head of the families. You can't live up to his word if you're living under your mama. I thought that was the best comment. If you're raised in the church from young in America, you're taught that the man is supposed to be the provider. He's supposed to be the one that's out gathering food, bringing home income, supporting a household, you know.
But he's not married yet. So the only time that he is supposed to do that is when he has his own family. So he's supposed to leave the mother's house.
Nobody's getting married anymore. It's a cliche.
That's on them though. But this is
Everybody's
what I'm
having
saying.
kids,
You're talking about like people like you said he's a man of God or whatever. So if that's the case, yeah, you can do that when you get married. I don't have a problem. Like I don't have a problem with my son if he wants to get married and leave. Hey, just keep the basement open for mommy, okay?
You know what?
Shout out to Miguel and Green Eye Hustle.
Hey, what's going on, guys? All right, Lauren Mitchell, shout out to her. She said depends on the circumstances. My ex bought a house and moved in with his mom. But if I see a dude living with his mom, I wonder why. Is he helping the family or has he been lazy and complacent? I would ask him.
I agree.
So what do you think of as far as that situation where a man's living home with his mother? Would you be able to date someone like that? What kind of questions will run through your mind? Dating a gentleman who is, you know, home with moms.
I've done it. I've done it.
We know you got issues.
I've never had an experience like that, so I don't even know what to say at this point. Well, no, I'm lying. My ex-husband, yeah, he used to live with his mom. I'm lying.
See?
So, but I've never went to his house until I got married. So it was like I said, in Europe,
Oh,
it's
you
totally
went to his house after you got married with his moms?
Yeah, no, because it's
So his
totally
mom
different.
heard him bringing you back? Like, seriously, like, what happened?
No, but like I don't even know. Like over here, like people are like the upbringing is so different, like than what I've grown up to be at. So like I can't even like explain. Like it's really weird. Like and I'm like listening to you like say, oh, I want my father and son to leave, and I'm like,
Yeah.
no, I don't want him to leave. But I do want him to leave, but not now. I mean,
Yeah,
listen.
Well, I mean, like, your two kids are two different, like, they're complete 180.
Yeah.
One is more dependent, the other one is like, why are you speaking to me? You know what I mean? So I understand from that standpoint. So guys, could you be able to deal with the gentleman who's living at home with moms? Would you have an issue about that? What kind of concerns would you have?
Well, when I was dealing with the guy that was living at home,
2 days ago, okay.
I was younger.
2 days ago, okay.
I have you know that he has a really nice place in the projects, okay? He ain't got to stay with mommy out there. He can afford it on his own.
I mean, rent's $5, man.
Listen.
Can't relate to any of this shit.
When I was messing with a guy who was living at home with his mom,
Right.
I was younger.
Right.
I wouldn't do it now. I got too much going on. I'm looking for relationship right now. I'm looking for a foundation.
Well, you're looking
What
for
would be the
stability.
issue with
Stability.
finding a relationship with a gentleman who's living at home? Would that
No.
be a problem, an issue?
Yes.
Why?
Because that show, first of all, I'm not trying to date anybody that's not around my age. And if you fucking almost 40 years old, still living with your mother, that says a lot about you.
You just turned 20 though, stop playing.
You know what? My birthday's in 2 weeks. I'll be 38.
We need to see a birth certificate, we don't need that shit.
Virgo. But
Okay, so you meet a guy, he has his own house.
Okay.
Now, I've come upon this recently. He has his own house. I have my house. Who's gonna move? Now, you would think the person that's
He
renting, into the house that is owned. But it's not that easy, because when you meet somebody, you're not just gonna think, you know, after a couple of months when it's serious and you start to think how we're gonna merge this, it's so much easier with a man that lives at home, because you can be like, baby, just come over here and start paying this rent right here.
Well, actually,
Okay, because he's paying his mortgage, I can ask him to pay my rent.
but
You can.
I'm
It's a
just
matter
saying.
of time.
is the mom in the house?
Oh, he owns his own house, but I'm saying,
Why don't you
we
move?
move into his house.
Yeah.
Yeah, hell yeah. Cut your payments and let
Start
go.
from scratch.
It's all
So-
good.
I'm sorry, I have to cut in on that.
Yeah.
I don't believe in giving up my place and moving in with somebody else, and he get an attitude and I'm homeless and my son is homeless. Well, that's what.
Let's be
married.
That makes sense.
Scared to move into a woman's
Yeah, but
apartment
what if the
because when
relationship
she gets on her shit, she like, get out. Right.
Okay, so you know what? In that case, then we're going for who has the bigger space. It also depends on who has the more children, you know, if there are gonna be children involved.
And how long is the relationship going for? Like, I wouldn't go with a guy that's been like a day and I'm just gonna, oh, you have your own place? Oh, we're already starting to talk about this? All right, I'm just gonna jump in with you and I'm coming.
I got one that's
Right.
better. If you guys
Yeah.
are talking about moving in together,
Right.
then how about the fuck y'all both just start from scratch
From
and buy
scratch,
something together with
Well,
both of your
that's good. So what I'm saying is, it's easier with a man who lives at home, because he can build that with you.
No, he can live at home, we just don't want him with mama.
No, you said live at home.
No, live at home with his mom.
Right, I'm saying the guy that lives at home with his mom, it's easier to get him out to even buy something together that you have together. When he already has his own house, you can't, like Michelle said, you can't just be like, I'm moving into your house.
No, I think
You
you should
have
have
your-
something
you know what I'm
together.
saying? So honestly, sometimes we need to give these guys a chance that haven't, or like, I want to marry somebody that's never been married, because I've never been married. I don't want to marry somebody that's been married already.
Right.
I want us to experience this for the first time. So I've never been a homeowner. I've rented my house for years, 10 years, which, you know, I should have bought that house. But if I meet somebody now who doesn't have their own home, then I would think that we can go in together and start all over. I'm just
Listen,
saying, it's easier.
Nobody's throwing nobody
It's not
out.
always
with
so,
both names.
you know, some guys are at their mom's house because they are saving money. They, you know, they don't want to be out here splurging. They want to save their money so they can buy a house. So it doesn't always mean that the person is lazy just because they live with their
But I think it does say a lot about a man that does know how to maintain his bills and have his own place. I think that speaks volumes. But from me and my son's dad, he was home with his mom after separation, and he's very responsible. So yeah, I do agree on that note. But a man that has his own, that's a gem in my eyes.
Yeah. All right, let me get back to these comments here. A bunch of those other ones were just me promoting the show for tonight.
Crazy.
Yeah.
So let me ask you ladies this question.
Yeah.
When you're dating someone, how long should you take before you move in with somebody?
At least a year. At least a year. I want to know you. Yo, I'm not moving in with somebody less than a year.
Oh my gosh, this is a very hard question for me.
A
Yeah,
year.
she pretty much bodied me the next day, was like, we're in a relationship.
Oh.
Yeah, but that's a different situation.
Well, I mean, we moved in like right after that too, so it's pretty quick. I always say this for me, from the perspective. I think the moment you start dating someone, you should move in with them.
Hell no.
So
And
wait.
the reason why I say that is, living with someone is totally different than living with them.
Yeah.
I would prefer knowing everything about you from the beginning, instead of dating you for 2 or 3 years, then moving in and finding out I really can't fuck.
It's
I mean,
gonna-
it's not like you regret it. It's been 5 years, so.
No, I'm good.
Alright, okay, cool.
Listen, I start dating somebody, it's gonna take me at least the first 5 months to get rid of the shit from the other one.
I took
So you
care of
still
that
smash
shit
the other
a
one
long
too?
time ago.
No, it doesn't have to be smashing. It could be old pictures, shit like that. Stuff you wouldn't want
No.
somebody you're just meeting to see.
The
I'll give you
unfortunate
a second.
situation.
I got a couple ladies over here.
Let me
Could you-
start,
go
let
ahead.
me just say something. The
Yeah.
unfortunate situation that I was in is that I was actually married to the dude for 19 years. And he is the father of my both children. So I can't just grab pictures and throw them out. There is a wedding album in my son's room that he really wanted to keep because there is a lot of people that have passed away and that mean a lot to us. One of them is my dad, so unfortunately there's things that I can't bring back. And that was like one of my only days that I felt good to make my father proud.
I hear what you're saying.
You know.
Shout out to Steven Gonzalez, he's in the chat. He
Hey,
say it's cheaper to live at home with mom, so you can save a couple of dollars. So I'm asking, anybody want to get it? How long do you think you should date someone before moving in? Any comments? Come on, you ain't shy, come on. Yeah, how long should you date
I
someone?
say about a year with her. I got
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Listen.
So you would continue to date the individual, I mean,
First of all, when I first started dating, I don't know if I'm sure of you. So, you know, I'm
Exactly.
still talking to a couple
Exactly.
other people before I really say, okay, hold on, I'm going to give it my all. Once I give it my all, then I got to get rid of the shit from the other one.
I have every single one of my baby daddy's names tattooed on me.
That is
Okay.
fucked up shit.
All
that's
right.
a lot of fucking
There would
tattoos.
be
that's what
no
we're
way
doing.
in hell that
Every single one of them. So,
hold on, that my kid's father will be tattooed on my ass. The last thing will be on my body. Ain't no way, sorry.
so therefore, you know, like I said, there are some things like pictures and stuff that you wouldn't want them to see right away. Somebody who deals with me is gonna have to be able to deal with. Hey!
Anybody that has to deal with you has to deal with all the pictures that you have of your kids and their fathers, period.
Well, every single last one of the
That's
motherfuckers.
it.
Like I just recently got this one.
You're crazy. All right, so we're talking about the topic today is about the difference between men living home with mom and women living home with mom. It's different.
All right, it is so crazy. Shout out to Lauren Mitchell.
Shout out, just welcome to
She
Billy.
just
Thank you
came
very
in,
much
and
for
I'm
coming
like
out.
one comment above her. Get ready to read her comment off here. Shout out to Sweat. He said, "Mother and daughter outgrow each other. They need space so they can fucking be sneaky."
It's true.
I don't know.
I need to leave my mother's house ASAP.
Well, I mean, it sounds like it's different when, you know, mother dealing with daughter than mother dealing with son.
I can't stand my mother.
Oh,
So in that case, you know.
So you were in a rush to get out of the house.
Yeah, because she wanted the 40-something-year-old. Remember last show?
Well, I'm saying she needed her back busted. Right?
Listen,
You fucking her like she can't get a
You're
swerve
supposed
on
to be
and shit.
a whole grandmother. You ain't
You
supposed to
cock-blocking
be trying to
this
be
shit.
out there doing that.
Goddess is cock blocking.
trust me, guys. Wait till you get to her age. You will want the same shit.
Oh yeah. You're like,
Or better.
what other comments do we have?
All right, and the next one was just from Lauren saying that she was on her way. So,
Hey,
Shout out, Lauren. Shout out. Thank you very much for coming through.
Thank you
Appreciate
for
it.
coming through.
yes.
What's
All
the
right.
next?
So the next
So pretty
time,
much what you're saying is it a difference between men being the home mom or women being home with mom? What age do you ladies think, or gentlemen here also think, is the proper age for someone to leave the house
40.
and be out on their own?
21.
40.
My son is turning 21
My
in
son,
November. And
40.
he already know. Mom, with my income taxes in February, I'm out. Thank you, son.
So so guys, you're saying 21 is the proper age for your son to get out.
Yes.
Michelle, you're saying 40. I'm thinking 45 in your case. I'm just putting that
You
out
know
there.
what? Oh,
Just
no.
put that out there.
I know.
So there is a difference between
Well,
men and
my
women.
oldest, I'm sorry, but my oldest is totally different than my youngest.
Wow.
So my youngest, I could see him leave in about a year or two. But my oldest is very different. His, unfortunately, I mean, not unfortunately, but he will be graduating in December.
Shout out to him. Shout out
He's
to
a
me.
biologist, and my son was diagnosed at the age of 6 with Asperger's.
Okay.
So he has, he's very unsocial. So he's getting there. It takes time.
So
you know.
yeah.
He's on the dean's list though.
And he's on the
Sorry.
dean's list, and he's my boy.
I just want my cut.
I'm
So I just
proud
want
of
my
you,
cut for this
I got
first
you.
job.
The only list my son is on is probation, and other than that, he can go. Nobody got time for
I
it.
got you.
Okay. So there is a difference between men and women staying home.
Yes.
And is there, what age should women leave the house?
Right away.
18.
No, I disagree.
You don't think
Right
so?
away.
Hold on, we disagreement later.
Okay, all right.
Tell us what you
Talk
think.
to us, Lauren.
First, hey, Kara.
Hey!
Thanks again for coming through.
I can't believe I met you over 10 years ago.
Yes!
I know, but yeah. So, okay. One thing that I think we fall short in, and I'm saying we as in a black woman and other minorities, is we don't set our children up for success. An 18-year-old is not ready for this world out here, okay? My rent for a 2-bedroom apartment right now, an average 18-year-old cannot afford that.
She rich, yeah.
I'm saying not even a 1-bedroom apartment, like we have to set our children up for success. Now, I have friends from all walks of life. My white friends stay home until they're 30, 25, they save money, they have nice bank accounts before they move out, and they're prepared for the world and they have good credit scores.
Yes,
I don't think in this world, I think in my parents' world, it was normal for you to be 18, 21 and move out. I don't think that we still are in those times.
Okay.
Every child is different too. I know that there's a big difference between, men and women. I do think that it is a turnoff when you meet a man above a certain age and he's still living with his mother. But as I explained in my comment, the circumstances will determine how this all plays out. Is he helping his family? Is he helping his mother? Right. Or is he taking advantage? That's something that he can't hide forever. Right. So you'll figure that out sooner or later. I'm gonna know after a while whether or not this man is self-sufficient or, a mama's boy. Right.
Yes, ma'am.
Right. I'm an alpha female, so it's only a certain amount of time you can hide that before I pick up on it and just be like, this is not for me.
That's it.
But I do think that we have to, come together a little bit. I don't know your children personally. Your son may be very mature and self-sufficient, but I just think sometimes we have to be a little careful about, just pushing them out into this world, especially in this area. It's crazy. It's hard.
I so totally agree with you. Like, I didn't grow up here. So I didn't grow up here. I came here when I was 19. And I really think that this was like a very difficult time for me. I was only 19 years old. And everything that the media, everybody that was in my country and portrayed America to be was a false statement. From black people being accused of anything that they didn't do, which I've never, in my country, we don't even know color. You don't understand, I started learning about the situation with black people when my son started school. We were devastated. My son for 6 days, he didn't sleep or eat over the stupid stuff that, in our country, this is stupid. You're not even supposed to go through anything like this in life, period. So when I look at my boyfriend and sometimes he tells me things that he's been through, I don't even know what to say as a human person I'm different. I came from a totally different upbringing. I had my father and my mother in the household. My mom's mom and father were married. My dad's mom and father were married. I don't have an idea what it looks like to have a breaking home. I don't know. I'm learning, and it breaks my heart that still in 2019, we are still going through this shit. I don't think anybody deserves to go through half of what the black people in this country have endured, period. And I keep saying this to my children. I'm sorry, I get very emotional about this. Not because I am, totally in love with my boyfriend, which happens to be black. But
shout out to the black
I'm just I can't even understand how somebody can just torture somebody out of something that they assume he had in his hand. A kid had a candy and you shot him how many times? Why? Oh, because I assume. There's no such thing in my country. You assume they kill you for just assuming to do something like that.
What country is this?
Well, I come from Malta, so, we embrace everybody. So for me, I couldn't understand why Spanish people are being accused of their education, or they can't speak a word in English, or look at him, he's black, he's going to jail. Oh, no black people are successful. This is all I heard since I've been here, since I was 19 years old. I'm 45. Nothing has changed in this country, which is sad. So of course, a lot of people are going to say something about how men are not supposed to live with their mother. Look, if you are a good mom and you don't want your child to spend all his money that you gave him, hey, there's going to be times where he's going to need that money for his own family. If you're good and you can provide for him until that day, that's good. If you can't, I'm with you on that. I'm not against you if this is how you think or what you see, but I think it's about time for people to change their ways of thinking.
Well, unfortunately, in black communities, what we hear as far as black kids, we're heard when it comes time to pay bills, we're told stay out of grown folks' business. So we're not taught like Jewish communities who teach their kids how to balance a checkbook at the age of 13.
Okay, so
at the
then
age
let's
of
start.
14. Well, that's what I'm saying. It's up to us to change a lot of the issues or problems that a lot of things are happening in certain communities. And like I said, like when bills are come, you sit your child down. This is how much I make. This is how much rent is. This is how much utilities is. This is what you put towards this. This is what you put towards that. And anybody who's familiar with me, I always say there's a difference between rich and wealthy. Rich is bills paid, food in the house. That's fucking rich. Because you'd be amazed at how good it would feel not to have a collector call you or someone that you have to owe money to. That's rich. Bills paid, food in the house. Now, wealthy, that's different. That's something you pass down through generation to generation to generation. And unfortunately, a lot of black households, we're taught old stuff. Oh, this stays at home. You don't put our business out there. And this and that. And I think as far as the black community, there's a lot of things that we need to start changing. And eventually, it will change once we get to those differences.
A lot of black mothers have 50 cents in the bank and they pay check by check and they're not in a position. I mean, you can still teach certain things, but we're all, some of us, surviving. And we're trying to get to a place where we can, get it for ourselves and then show our kids how to get it. But in the moment when you're in like poverty, you're just trying to put some food on the table. So, we always want to say what black people don't do, but at the end of the day, when you're in survival mode, it's a totally different thing. We're not all sitting at the table eating whatever we want. Oh, it's $100,000 and this is how you spend it. We don't have that. We're not in that position. So it's kind of hard.
But sex is the number one thing in the world, and unfortunately, a lot of people don't want to give sex the power that they actually have. You have people that won't eat in 20 days, but they're still fucking. No, like, I'm dead serious, on your side. You've seen the commercials, help this person ain't eating 12 days, but they're pregnant.
Yeah.
But, and I think, unfortunately, a lot of times we are so willing to give or put our problems on someone else. It's yours. Yeah. Okay, if you don't have enough money, why the fuck do you still having kids?
Exactly.
You're still having kids, you're still getting pregnant. There are certain things I think a lot of times we need to take more responsibility for our own actions.
Well, I'm going to say this, and I'll...
Hold on a second, guys. Okay,
sorry.
You said you
No,
were-
go ahead.
All right, yeah, guys.
I'm about to rip him. So.
That's what she always does.
I think one problem that I've seen also is that, we live in a social media era where everybody, you want to stunt for the gram, you want to look good on, Facebook.
Yes.
There is nothing wrong with leaning on your village and reaching out to people that are around you. I pride myself on being around people that are smarter than me, have different skills. So if someone is good at budgeting, someone is good at managing their money, why wouldn't I go to this person and explain to them, I'm having some difficulty? But see, that's a problem that we sometimes have. Our egos won't let us ask for help.
Right.
Preach.
So I think that's a big problem. Like, you know me, you know my background. So every single year I put, things out there on social media like, listen, if you need help budgeting, I'm your girl. If you know me and we friends, we need to sit down and have a conversation.
Yeah.
And I do it the old school way. I don't use apps.
That's great.
I use Microsoft Excel.
Yeah.
And I tell people, like,
Rich people.
I'm a tax preparer, so I tell people.
Of course she is.
Rich people, okay.
I give free advice. I don't harsh for this, but I tell people like lean on your village.
Well, I'm coming to you, so.
Exactly.
So I have a comment for Erica. Erica, I just don't think that it's just the black community that struggles. I think there's a lot of white people that are struggling in that same position, but unfortunately they do tend to hide it. So, you know,
White people
we do
get the most
tend to-
EBT in the United States of America.
Well, I
Well, see,
was one of
that's the thing that unfortunately is always put upon. You would think that the majority of the world of color are the ones that get assistance, when it's actually the complete opposite.
Yeah, it's true.
People,
I
more
just
white
said it,
people
white
are
people.
getting assistance than
Absolutely.
any other
Look,
minority
I've
in the world.
never was on
Especially
that
Jews
list.
who husbands got 12 jury stores and shit.
I'm not gonna lie, I tried, but I wasn't on that list apparently.
Rich people.
Yeah, it was really crazy, to the point where I had my mom have to send me money from Australia every month to make my children survive
That ain't nothing.
for 9 months. So I know how it
It's
feels,
okay.
but it's okay.
Yeah, it's okay. We all make it. We all make it.
We
Yeah, okay.
are tough people. We can do it. If we
Absolutely.
reach out to people that we really know, it could happen.
Yeah.
You know, somebody can give you something. It doesn't have to be like, oh, you know, give it to me later. Some people like will tell you give it to me later, and then when you go there, it's okay, I understand. It's okay.
Ain't no okay, you got slit the burger. Go ahead.
All right. Crazy though, like I remember a couple months back, you posted something on social media, like listen, around like Thanksgiving, you were like, if you need food, hit me up.
Yes,
like,
I
this
did.
Is this is an example of what I'm talking about like letting the ego go.
Exactly.
And leaning
I sure
on your
did.
village.
We all could benefit from each other, but
Absolutely.
people don't want that.
Absolutely.
It's like, it takes a village to raise a family. It doesn't take one person.
Right. That's how I am
It's
too.
okay.
I had like 7 turkeys and a whole bunch of hams and stuff, so you know, I let everybody
You
know.
can have
Well, you
the
can't cook, so I know why you give
I
this away.
100%
I think
can
you give shit
cook.
away too.
I 100% can cook. Shut up.
You like eat, you don't use salt and pepper. She just cook
Yo,
shit.
shut up. All right, so look, I want
What's
to
the
get
next topic?
I want to get into my next topic.
Next topic.
All right, so guy and girl go out on a date. They're out very first time. They do some talking in between, probably about a good week, 2 weeks, and then finally decide to meet up. This question was mainly for the fellas.
Okay.
Is sex on the first night an absolute deal breaker? How do you view a woman after that?
I'm gonna let him talk
Can
about
you
it.
ever have a
I
serious
smashed the first night
relationship?
she came through. So nah.
Can you ever have a serious relationship with somebody that gave it up to you that
I will tell you this. Michelle came to see me the first night, we smashed. We've been together 5 years now. It was a young lady that made me wait 1 year. I smashed, I never called again.
Oh yeah, and I did go there for that intention too. Sorry. I had
No
no
drawers
underwear.
on, she had no
I
drawers
had
on.
no panties.
It was going down.
So I knew. As soon as he goes like, turn this way, I was like, okay, that's it.
You
I
know
already
what?
know.
Stay in the applause, stay in the applause. all night.
I don't do stuff like that, even though if
Right.
you knew me,
Excuse
We
me.
you
don't-
know
we don't
Michelle,
believe that.
you would think that it'd be complete opposite.
We not believing that shit.
I actually make a man wait for a little
We
while.
not believing that.
But what is the reason for him to wait?
Respect. I don't want him to have less respect for me because I did that.
So
If
you
if I
think-
did it to him,
Right.
then imagine how many other guys in the back of his mind he's thinking I've done that with too.
Well,
and how can you?
Guess what? Guess what? My in the back of my head, I'm thinking, guess how many he has fucked? So
But it ain't fair because he had on
I
drawers.
would-
I'm
I
sure.
would
You
put
wanna
like
know
this.
no, he did not.
No,
You wasn't wearing drawers
She
either.
know,
No, he
she
did
know,
not.
first of all, my number count.
He had the biggest, yo, he had,
ridiculous.
hold on.
Where
He
you
had the biggest sweatpants I've ever seen on
You
him.
gotta have
He's a
it-
big,
You gotta have a gray sweats on, y'all. You gotta know
it was
those
10
on gray
times bigger
sweats.
than him.
Gotta
I'm
see the
like,
big
what
one.
is he wearing?
With
Like,
no underwear. Shout
No
out to him.
underwear.
Big red, okay. I will say this though. Unfortunately, with what we do in certain things, we forget.
We're still together.
Absolutely. We forget how important sex is in a relationship. It's a very
not.
big part.
No, it's listen.
You're the same
We
person
talked
that cheated
about-
on somebody who didn't satisfy you.
Okay, fucking first of all.
Exactly.
First of all, wait. not true. I didn't cheat on him because he didn't satisfy me.
So why?
I just cheated on him because I wanted to.
Okay.
She wanted her back broke properly, that's what happened.
Did you wait 6 months to fuck him too?
No,
Oh.
no. I don't ever give it up to anybody on the first night. Number one, you gotta earn it. You gotta earn it.
Right.
And if a man straight up said to me, you know what, sweetheart, we can do this, but you're gonna have to earn it, that's gonna either, it's gonna make me feel better about him.
Okay, so let me ask you this.
If
We
you give it up
have,
that easy,
So wait,
like-
babe, it's technically not the first night, let's be honest.
well, all right, I want to ask this question. What about Sierra and Russell Russell Wilson? These are two individuals who are married now, but in the process of them dating, they refuse to have sexual intercourse.
Yes.
Because they wanted to save it
Yes.
for the actual wedding night. So I want to ask this question. What if the sex was whack as shit and now you're married?
Yo, listen. Okay.
Yeah, that'd be,
I meet a lot of people and they always say, I don't have an orgasm, I don't do it. You have to train your man. That's what you have to do. You have to let them know what you like. Even if it's small, there's other things you can do. You know what I mean? I feel like if there's love involved, you make it work.
Yeah.
You make it happen.
I mean, me and
you
you
don't buy a
are,
car without test driving it.
Tip saying, as long as you got toys, you
It
good.
don't gotta be the first night.
no,
It gotta be the first night. Let's take our time.
it was not the first night that we
No,
had met.
okay, you give it up and he don't call you the next day, and you're gonna be
First
feeling
night that we had
insecure
met.
about yourself. Like maybe it wasn't good.
It was like
You know, maybe-
the week after we had met. We
No,
were
it was like
by
2 weeks. We did a lot of
ourselves. It was the
conversating
first
stuff.
time we were by ourselves.
Right.
In 7 days.
Right.
We had been around everybody else.
Okay,
We
so
had been-
that's fine.
And that's when it happened. It wasn't just like, oh, me and him met at the bar and this night we went out,
See,
we went
that's-
home and
that's
smashed.
what I'm talking
That's
about.
not it.
So you're saying you would have an issue with sleeping with someone the very, very, very first night?
I'm not fucking nobody in here tonight. Straight up. I'm not going out fucking nobody.
My man right here about to fucking leave.
I'm not.
He didn't ask for his tab real quick. He's like,
The tab, please,
give me my shit, fuck that.
on aisle 22.
He's like, I pregame too, I got that first night out.
That's not me. That's not me as a person. And then getting back to what you was, I got a
Okay,
couple of
but
things.
can I ask
Right.
you something?
Yeah.
What if it happened?
No.
No, but I'm just saying, let's make a scenario. Let's say you met this dude, you had sex the first time, and 10 years later you're still with him. What is wrong with that?
If it works out that way, that's
Right.
great. I'm just worth more than giving something so precious of mine to somebody I just met at a bar.
But
I'm
like,
just so much
vaginas
more
are
than-
everywhere.
Nah,
It's not like,
mine. We'll talk about that
Well,
later.
no, I would double down on that because unfortunately what you have, on a serious note, a lot of times, I always say when you're dealing in a relationship, the person you're with should be your best friend.
Yeah.
But you would have a best friend, but you won't date him.
it's true.
So it's like
I
a
have
double-edged
I would
sword.
never touch it with a
Listen,
No one wants to date their best friend, but they want their mate to be their best friend.
I know what my best friend be doing. I can't date him.
No, I can't do that
But
because I can't
again,
shit.
you're dealing with someone that
I be closer to
actually,
him.
but you're dealing with someone that you actually know. So there's no surprises. You know, like when I met Michelle, I told her, my body count is fucking serious. So you gotta understand, when you're dealing with me, we're gonna run into a lot of people I fucked. And you're gonna have to be able to understand it. And I know it's vice versa.
You would have still been sitting where you were. Telling me some shit like that?
Yeah, well, she stalked me, so it happens like that.
I never stalked her. You're the one that started that shit. So let's
Now
not even go
listen,
there.
I get mad if my man has even got an X on his page on Facebook.
Why?
You know,
What?
like,
Well, I mean, hold on. You said
I'm
yes.
not
So,
paying attention
explain,
to
hold on for a
shit.
second. Explain that to us. Why would you have a problem with your ex being friends?
Because he would have most men would have a problem if I stayed in contact with my ex, so we're not gonna do those
So then
things
if
over
that's
there.
the case,
And that's why I
one-sided
think,
here.
I think we have a lot of problems because unfortunately we forget to be fucking grown ass adults.
Exactly.
Right, but I'm
Unfortunately-
talking about reality though, most men that, okay, I'm 30, I'm gonna be 38.
Right.
I've been dating.
Well, happy birthday.
Rich?
Yeah. Most men are not comfortable comfortable with the things that they want us to be comfortable with. So they want us to cut ties. They don't want me to be in contact with my ex, so you're not going to be in contact with yours.
Right.
I always say this, from a man's perspective, and this always takes people crazy. From a man's perspective, when you look at your woman, remember that other niggas done it in your woman's mouth.
Yo.
Okay, let me tell you
I'm
something.
gonna let you know. And that's another reason why I'm single.
Let me tell you something.
No, so you be honest.
You repeat that on every one of my shows. If I'm looking at me sideways,
If you can look at it
you
from
know,
that
talking about giving
standpoint.
people rusty trombones, nigga asses, phone.
What I'm saying from a standpoint, if you can look at it from an adult, and that's what I have to say, but if you look at it from an adult standpoint, everyone you've dated has had sex before, they've had experience before. So if you look at it from an adult perspective, then you can look at relationships from the right perspective.
Well, listen,
Okay,
I know
Lauren,
my baby
let me
father
tell you
doesn't eat no
something.
pussy because he don't even
So-
because he don't do it.
With this, I had just been dating him for like over a year, and we went to this bar. And I happened to walk into the bar, and I'm about to sit down, and this girl comes in from outside and runs on top of him and wraps her legs around him
Yeah, she
in
jumped over.
front of my face.
Yeah. That was.
I was about to walk out, and then he goes like, "Oh, I have to introduce you to my girl."
No,
I said to
did
him,
fuck, yeah.
right this, did you fuck her too?
Absolutely.
Okay. I knew already. But guess what? I went home with him. She didn't come home with us.
I don't understand.
I had to be the grown up because, you know, I could be a bitch too if I wanted to, but I wanted to see what he would do or how he would react. But he was like, well, you know what? Listen, I have a girl. He got you could see the face on him.
He's gone, right? Nobody's
gone.
taking community dick serious.
No, but
Nobody.
it was really hard for me at the same time to like understand the whole concept. But she kept on coming to me. She's like, "You're okay, right? I really apologize. I'm so sorry." I was like, "Yeah, right, whatever."
And the whole time you was thinking about how at one point your man was licking her pussy, right?
Not really. I didn't care.
I don't know why people care how many people that somebody's been with. It does. They can tell you it was 10 and it could have been 30. They're not gonna
Exactly,
tell
because
you.
nobody is
So
honest.
don't even
I
ask
agree
me
with
Just
you.
because we like the burger doesn't mean we want to know where it came from.
No,
We
but-
might like the steak, but we don't want to see where it came from. You're not gonna have me no place where you know there's gonna be 4, 5, 6 asses you done been with in there.
No, I understand like the whole concept of the whole situation. And when I went into this situation, I knew because he told me like, oh, you know, I have a past and this. And I was like, all right, like I guess I have to deal with this shit. But then like after a few months hearing the same fucking stories, cut the shit. Like I don't want to hear it.
So I think it's a difference. Like
I can tolerate
to think he hasn't been
exactly.
with other
I can
women,
tolerate that you had 100 or 200 or 1,000 at this point, but I don't want to hear no shit. I don't think I want to hear anything that you had like a 3-way or a 4-way. I could give a fuck about that shit because right now you're living with me.
Right.
And so if you want to leave, that's fine. You can go have a 4-way.
All right,
So that's basically
you're
it.
you're okay with, like, you have no problems with meeting a woman very first night,
Well,
taking her home?
and like I said, unfortunately, we on a serious note, we continue to forget that we're adults and that people have life experiences. And also, there are some people that make you feel, no matter if you met them that day or 10 years from now, there are some people that just hit you a certain way, a certain time, that you just connect with that person on a different level than you've connected with someone else. So I always say, if someone says, I'm not gonna have sex with this person because of this, then you destroy the relationship. Everything should happen naturally. And as long as it's happening naturally, it should be great. So I don't think anyone should put a date or a time when it's time for
There should
someone
not
to
be a
actually
time
connect.
stamp period.
Right, it shouldn't be a time. So if you met someone that night, and no matter what you went through, life experience-wise, this person listened to you, this person understood you, and this person makes you feel special. So for you to purposely not want to share yourself with that person for the wrong reasons, yeah, that's wrong.
In a 4-hour conversation?
Yeah, we talking
But
about
not that
money.
money is
Y'all
the
ain't had
same.
no conversation. In those 4 hours, y'all ain't had no conversation about STDs, health history.
Boom.
How many baby fathers? How many baby mamas you got?
I feel you on that, but I'm
What
talking
is your
about
parent
I'm talking about real conversation. Someone
Yeah, but
that
conversation as an adult is not.
But you would not have that on the very first date, and you sleep with each other on the very first.
Well, just like me, like I'm a different character. I'm the type of person I ask you right off the bat, how many sex partners you have?
Oh, that's crazy. Well, you ain't never getting an honest answer from a woman.
But see, and that's what I'm saying as far as individuals, we're so worried about what people feel about us, how they view us, instead of being open and honest about the truth, you prevent yourself from actually being happy.
But if I met you, I know y'all together, so I'm talking about hypothetically.
Right,
If I
right.
met you tonight at the huddle,
Right.
and you asked me how many sexual partners have I had, you just some dude I met in a bar. Why do I owe you my honesty?
But honesty is honesty.
Exactly.
Why do I owe you
Honesty
my
is honesty.
You're some dude I met in a bar.
Right.
Why should I share with you how many sexual partners I've had?
Because it's the truth.
Yeah, but no, you're just asking that, but she might not want to say how much.
How many sex partners have you? 4. My answer is gonna always be 4.
Why?
400 in your case.
4. You would, listen, you would think so, but
No, seriously.
listen, I ain't giving it up on the first night. That's
From a
your bad.
guy's perspective, whenever you ask a woman how many people she slept with, you always add 20 onto it.
Maybe.
Oh, what happened?
I said we pick one number, we stick with it for years.
4.
Well, I multiply it by 1,000.
4.
Whatever
To be honest
number
with you,
he
I don't
gave
even
me,
know
I
how many people
multiply it
I've
by
been with.
1,000.
But I can tell
And
you-
I got over 10,000 women. How about that?
Well, no, see, like with me, I was open and honest. Like I went through a point in period where I was crazy. Like I couldn't count. Every time I attempted to count how many people I slept with, I always forgot many people.
Yo, listen.
So, you know what I'm saying? But she'll tell you, I was open and honest. And like the situation she was talking about with the young lady jumped in my arms, like she literally jumped and wrapped her legs around me. It was awkward, and then I told her, this is my girl, we can't do that. You know what I mean? But I immediately corrected the situation, but I understand
He did
how
sweat
she
a
felt.
lot.
I understand how she felt. But from a guy perspective, you gotta understand, like, your girl gets dick pics every day. No, real talk. Your girl gets dick pics every day.
No.
So it's vice versa. It goes hand in hand.
Nobody wants
Well, let me tell you something. I could get,
Real women don't want
hold
to
on, hold on. I could get 1 million dick pics a day.
You just got one of your
And I
phones
would
lit up.
say to the person that I am in a relationship,
Right.
I've never not once said to the person that sent me a message, oh hey, you're beautiful. I would really like to meet you. I said to the person one time, do you want to meet my fiance too? Because we would really love to have a free dinner.
Absolutely, but I always tell her, like, when someone asks you for your
That's
number,
it.
give them my number, and I'll answer it every day. I have no problem with it.
I have people coming to my job with the same situation. And I have guys married that come to my job, and I know their wives. I give them medicine for their wives, and they come and ask me if they can call me when I'm free to take me out to lunch. And I
can't bring her
say,
back,
sure.
I'm working on
As
yours.
long as I can bring my fiance, I will have you buy me lunch. But you have to buy my fiance lunch too.
As long as it's a porterhouse, I'm expensive as shit. I like porterhouses. I don't do that cheap shit.
You a mess. I will tell you this. I've been with 4 people, and I'm leaving it at that.
Shit, girl, I love you for that shit. Go ahead. How many people?
4.
Okay, go ahead.
And
Lightning does. It was lightning outside.
I
earlier,
lost
wasn't it?
serious count. To be honest with you, I'm gonna be 38 in 2 weeks. I don't know. I forgot.
Okay.
I know I got a few baby daddies. That's all I know. More than 1 or 2 or 3.
She got a starting
But
5 plus.
It's okay.
Shut up.
It's like 9
You're
of
still
them.
taking care of your children, and that's what matters. So
Exactly.
So-
Grown ass woman shit right there.
that's grown up.
But I can't say that 0 have met me on the same day and have gotten my gift.
All right, so let me ask you this from this standpoint. You made a very, very good situation. You have a couple of baby fathers, and none of them situations have worked out.
No.
So no disrespect you, because I lay you down.
Yeah.
So when you try something different, and I think from a relationship standpoint, we continue to bump our heads against the wall, doing the same shit over and over again, looking for a new experience. So what I'm saying is, if you would have hollered at one of those dudes who wanted to holler, it wouldn't have been the baby daddy, it'd have been my husband without kids.
Can I ask you a question?
Absolutely.
Truth, how long you been engaged?
I think it was like 3 years, 2 years.
Okay, that's the problem. I'm not playing house.
Well, here's
I'm
the
not
thing,
doing that. I don't settle for that.
from
And that's the reason why
From
it
both
didn't
our
work out.
perspectives, we both were married before,
So we've been
we're
married.
not rushing
I'm
into
not ready.
marriage like other people. We both been
Listen,
married
y'all
before.
don't have kids together. In my case, I have kids with these men, and I refuse to play
I be
house.
trying, I be
So
nothing
knowing
different.
my worth, it hasn't worked out because I'm not doing something right, or or wrong.
Busting shots.
Yo, shut up. All I'm saying is I know my worth, and I'm not playing house with no grown men that I have kids with. So I left for that reason.
Right.
Somebody who's going to want to make an honest woman out of me is going to realize it a lot sooner than 10 years.
Right.
They're going to realize it a lot sooner than 7 years. And those were my longest 2 relationships with the 2 baby fathers.
So
The other
can I
one,
ask you a question?
yeah.
So you're saying that if you've been with a guy for 7 years and he proposes to you and you're engaged for 3 years, that's a long time?
What the fuck? If we're together already 7 years, what are we waiting another 3 years for? What else do you need to know about me besides waste my time?
Well, men look at
Maybe
marriage differently.
I'm not doing it.
Maybe finance, maybe,
Well, men and women look at marriage differently. Unfortunately, from a man's perspective, we look at when a woman says marriage, she gets married, she stops doing all the things that made us want to marry her.
no, I'm working, girl.
So when I walk in the house, I don't get blowjobs no more. Because she's married. Like, that shit stops.
But that's where communication comes into play. Like, why do y'all just automatically think stuff instead of asking a question or prompting conversation?
Right.
No, I feel you on that. I feel that. But I can't even ask how many people you slept with. So
Sir, there is a big difference between a man that I randomly meet
Right.
in a bar and someone that I want to share my life with.
No, I feel you. All right, so let me ask you
There is a
this.
big difference.
Yes.
You do rusty trombones?
I'm sorry?
Rusty trombone.
Yo, babe, stop.
Not everybody knows what a damn rusty trombone is. Yo, you don't want to know. You don't want to know.
Oh my
Who's doing
God.
rusty trombones in this building?
Not
Like,
me.
nothing wrong with that.
Not
You like
me.
the rusty trombones, no man? You don't like it?
No,
Yeah,
babe,
baby?
stop it.
She like, she ain't fucking with that.
No.
She like,
Stop.
I had a show like a year
I had to
ago.
look for that. I actually had to look for that on Instagram.
I had it up on my
No,
phone,
on my phone.
if
And my
anybody don't know, a
son sent
rusty
me a picture of
trombone
it.
is when she
And I was
shows
like,
you dick
oh,
and
I
you should
don't
ass at the
think
same
so.
time.
Oh, Lord, listen, listen, if he my husband, listen.
Oh, exactly.
If you are my
She like, well,
husband, not even my fiance. If you are my husband,
You're not getting
my
no rusty
fiance.
damn trombone.
That's
So
a
get
good
ass in the
idea.
tub first, but he my husband.
Babe, stop lying. You done had a couple of drinks, bro. I'm having a good time tonight, boy.
Complete opposite, mister. I done been with thousands. You think that's gonna make her like?
No, back to your topic. I will say this. I think at the end of the day, because we're so ashamed of what we've done, which we shouldn't be. We experience life, something repeatedly over and over again. Try something new. You can't, unfortunately, we try to go to the worst areas in the world and think those guys are going to be the suit and tie guys. That's not them. Those guys are the baby white backs, wiping their balls with baby wipes, still selling rocks. Word. So you gotta understand what you want and what you're actually trying and attracting. So once you figure that out, I think you'll be good.
All right. And then for my final topic,
Yes.
and this was a little bit on the funnier side. I had a question. Why do men pretend to want a relationship when all they really want to do is fuck? Why?
Yeah, I answered this one.
Because it's called man.
What is it? Like, why don't y'all just be straight the fuck up and just say what it is that you want? Why do you have to play games?
Because it's men.
And you'd be surprised at some of the comments that I got from grown-ass men.
What you got?
That they're gonna say.
Read some of the comments off.
Bella and Miss Party Creation said, and this is female, she said they do it for the thrill.
Yep.
Shout out to Donald J. Simpson. He said, if they're honest about it, the only ones that'd be okay are the ones who's tricking. So he's telling me I should turn the question around, like this is something that women should be answering instead of men.
Okay.
I don't agree with that. BT Six Figs, he said it increases your chances of fucking. Simple.
Real talk.
I guess. Truth answered. No, women just think it's better. It's a relationship. Men, we know better. For real? For real?
Well, learning from the pro here.
Mr. 1000. Terrence Sheaver, shout out to him. He said, shit, nowadays it goes both ways, which is true.
I was about to tell you, I think women have become the same way now, and they're able to do that the same way the men can.
I can.
And I think that women learned it from men, because you taught us how. So we learned from the best,
Yep.
and we'll continue to learn from the best.
Yep.
So hey.
Tiff, what you got for us, Tiff?
I think that men do want you to be in a relationship with them while they're out having a good time. They want you to be committed to them and sleep with only them.
Yep.
And you know, that's what they do.
Yeah, I agree.
I agree. I think it's just because they know what they want, but then they're indecisive of how to take the next step. I don't think every guy can handle like a true woman.
Shout out
I think
to
they
John.
say that,
Go
I
ahead.
think they mislead you because if they told you that's all they want, we're not gonna do it.
You're not gonna do it.
That's
Exactly.
what
They
But
tell
you know
us that
what?
and make us believe that, and we act accordingly, and we treat them like they're our man, and in actuality, they're our man, we're just not their girl, because they have a bunch of girls.
No,
Yeah.
I agree.
That's exactly
Well,
what
that's how
I
I feel.
said on your post. I was like, you know, if they tell you straight up, yes, there are going to be some women that are like, fine, cool, but it's a numbers game. They know that their numbers are going to decrease if they just say, listen, I just want some sex. They
I
know that the
agree.
numbers are going to be much lower. Most women are not going for that.
Right.
I agree.
John Gonzalez.
Go ahead. John, what John said?
He said he's not this way. He said in reality, if you keep it real with a woman, she'll probably agree. Just have to worry about individuals who catch feelings.
Well, but again, unfortunately, what I always tell people, again, especially into the relationship, you can be whatever age you are, and when you meet someone, you've still been with yourself that many more years than you've been with that person. So I think the hardest thing when it comes to relationship is to turn me into we.
Right.
And
Yes.
everything you do once you get into a relationship has to be structured around we.
Yeah.
How would my mate feel about that? And until we start getting to that point where we can answer those questions, and we're not ready for a relationship.
Right. Tony Williams, he said,
What up, Tony?
it's not a long essay this time. Thank you, Tony. He said they feel like they have to sell a relationship lie in order to get the ass. However, what they don't realize is women just want to fuck too sometimes. There's no need to pretend anymore. Women need to not be offended when asked this question, especially if it's just fucking. And it's a simple yes or no question, plain and simple.
But that's what I just said. Yes, there are women that can do that like to do that because we learn from the best, and that is them.
Yep.
And
Exactly. But like, yo, you're shorty, do you swallow? Like how did it go?
No, 4. Shout out to Ty. He said because we have to, so y'all don't feel like hoes after we fuck.
Crazy.
Shout out to Lauren. She said lying gets them further. They know their options will be lower if they come straight out and just say that they want sex.
which
period.
is true.
Yes, I agree with
I
that.
agree.
Albert Blair, shout out to him. He said we do it. In most cases, it's because y'all consistently fall for it. I'm old now with a daughter. She will know the game, for real, for real.
Whatever. He's gonna have to
Yeah,
start
that's
playing
what I
on
think
too.
is
So
the-
watch your daughter. Yeah, that's what you need to do.
I mean, it
Check
should
your daughter out.
Well, unfortunately,
Teach
it's
her
not
what you
what we
guys
say, it's what we do. And we forget that men date their mothers and, you know, vice versa. Sons date their mother. So whatever you're going through, whether it's an abusive relationship a dysfunctional relationship, those are the things that you want, and those are the things you look for, because it's not what the person says, it's what you actually see in the household. And I always tell people, just for two people being in a household that are not happy, this is what you're teaching your child. Your child's not seeing the loving, the caring, how was your day? They're just seeing two individuals in the household together, not communicating in a lovely way.
It's true.
It's true.
Shout out to Steven Gonzalez. I don't know if he's still watching. He said,
He's still there.
He said, first, we talk you into feeling really supported and confident. Then they do it like when in a restaurant. They eat and go. He's always saying something real random.
Crazy.
Joe Garfield, shout out to him. He said, because too many females pretend that they just cannot fuck unless they're in a relationship. Now, I don't personally do that. I'm gonna keep it 100. I don't believe in complicating my world for a nut. Either she gonna fuck or she ain't.
Ski.
Calvin Taylor, shout out to him. He said, that's because the box isn't an option if the relationship isn't on the table. Only way dude could smash and dash, and she'd be cool with it if she really likes him. I guess.
Okay.
Shout out to Tommy. He said, I find that a lot of women try to rush into relationships for that exact same reason. And my last comment, again, came from Tony, silly self. Niggas want a wife, side chick, mistress, girlfriend, multiple baby mamas, and homes from different area codes. Tony, get out of here. You're still that.
So do women.
Shout out to Tony.
Yes, Tony is too much. So, I mean, for this one,
I don't know, I'm like,
I'd much rather a guy just tell me straight up, like, listen, I don't want no relationship. This is what it is, either you're in or you're out, period. Don't drag me along like I've been dragged along for the past 18 months and a whole baby just recently, like 3 days ago. Don't do that, and then later on I find out some shit, and then I feel like I wasted my time.
right.
Don't do it,
Do
you
you
know?
actually think that you wasted your time?
Hell yeah!
So what are you gonna do about it?
I told you I was done. Uh-oh, is this the flip?
So wait, you're done completely.
Yeah.
So you're done.
Yeah.
But your son is not done.
He's 5 months.
Yeah, but he's not done.
He don't see that motherfucker now. He don't even know who he is.
Shut
And
up.
that's because that's what he chooses. I
Shut
beg.
Listen.
I beg. He don't want to come around. That's
Once a
His
man
loss.
has a baby with a woman, I don't care how long it shall pass. That man is still going to be in his child's life, even though he doesn't want to.
I got more than one of them.
Now,
It's not that serious to me. More than
Yeah, but that's to
unfortunately,
you.
you can't
But
force
you're
someone to do
still
something they don't
connected
want
to
to
that
do.
person.
Yeah, but-
Whether you like it or not, you're still connected to that person. It's unfortunate.
Relationship-wise, I'm done
I know.
with all of my
I
kids'
hope
fathers.
it's true.
And it's not because of what I did. It's because I choose not to be a doormat. I choose not to be with you for years and years and years, and we still don't know what we're doing, and we're playing house. I know the person that is going to be for me is going to realize my worth
Right.
a lot sooner than 10 years.
As long as he ain't smashing on the first date, all right.
He's not ever going to.
I wish you the best.
Thanks.
You know.
I have a question for the men that are here.
The man?
So, for the
Okay.
men that are here.
Okay.
So, okay, True said you can smash on the first night and still be in a relationship with somebody. You can smash 3 months later and still break up. So,
That's true.
what makes a man know? And initially, seems like no man wants to be in a relationship. You have to smash him, show him what type of woman you are, give him good food. You know, it's like we're auditioning to be a girlfriend.
I
You know
never
what I'm
cooked for
saying?
his ass.
Oh, well, I'm
Sorry.
But
That's why he's
what I'm
skinny.
saying is you have to show them what type of woman you're gonna be
Of course.
for them to want to be in a relationship.
Yeah, I agree with you.
So, because I mean, there's certain things that we do that are going to turn them on, and there's certain things that we do that's going to attract them to want to stay with us and fall in love with us.
Yeah.
So what are some of the things that make you feel that men who don't even want a relationship will decide because of that special woman that he will take a chance? You understand what I'm saying?
I would say from a certain standpoint, like most men, it's about, unfortunately, we're so ashamed of what we've done. And I always talked about pure honesty. And at the end of the day, a person's going to like you or not like you. But if you start that courting off with false preferences, honesty, then you're not going to get honesty back. And if I tell you this is what I am, and this is who this is what I've done, and this is who I am, and you accept it, then we can go forward. But if you don't accept it, then I know at this particular time I did not waste 1 minute, 1 week, 1 year, 10 years with you, knowing that you wouldn't have accepted the type of person that I truly am. So I say, if we can be open and honest with the individuals that we're trying to date, this is who I am, can you accept that? No? Okay, thank you, I'll move on to someone else who can accept it. Instead of bringing with that representative like we always do in relationships, we meet, this is who I am now, but I can't show you who I truly am now because I want you to like me. And then you waste 2-3 years on an individual when you shouldn't have.
Yeah, I mean, I'm coming out of a 2-year relationship. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean.
Yeah. Well, you were saying what kind of client. To me, I think each individual is different. Different men like different things, whether it's honesty, a fat ass, we got kids in here now, so a fat butt, other things and other situations. So I think it's always on that individual man as a person to realize what you like and what you don't like. But again, like I said, if you come out front honest about what you like and what you don't like, it would prevent that, you know what, this ain't for me. Or you know what, well, hey man, she looks good, but at the end of the day, this is not who she truly is. Or vice versa. Okay.
I'm coming out of a 2-year situation, and I agree with what you said, Kara, about feeling like, you know, you wasted your time at a certain point in your life.
Rich people, go ahead.
I feel like my time was wasted. However, you know, there's nothing I can do about that now. So when you ask the question, I think you asked the question, so what do you do now? What I can do now is recognize what I do and don't want.
Yeah.
And recognize it sooner.
Yeah.
Being at this point in my life, I know, or I've learned the hard way to recognize red flags sooner.
Yeah.
I'm not normalizing bullshit.
Yeah.
You get to a point in your life where you're like, this is for me, it's not for me. And I've had to learn that, and that's the way I can protect myself moving forward.
Yeah.
Preach.
I know from jump, and it's sad, but I've got my guard up so high that whoever it is I end up being with next is almost going to have to walk on eggshells and perform miracles like Jesus walked on water.
Now, before we bring it over, we got out of here. So that's the problem we always go. We make our past our present, which affects our future.
Now, I got for a lot of money.
No, I'm not saying that. But again, those individuals are the past. But if you bring your past into your present, it affects your future.
Yeah, but you have to take the experience that you learned and bring that
You experience, but you can't put a finger and say he's the same way.
Look.
Right.
You can't. It's unfair for the individual, and it's unfair for you actually.
You got one time to ask me for money. One time.
But that's what I'm saying. Like,
I mean, gum is only 5 cents.
One time.
10 cents.
I don't care how much it is.
I
I don't
promise
care.
I won't ask you for money.
No, I'm not. I'm talking about a guy that I'm
I'm
gonna
just saying.
Right.
But what I'm saying is, be careful how much you take going into a new relationship. Because I remember going into the relationship with Darrell, and he can tell you that, like, when he used to joke around, I would just go like this,
Wow.
thinking he's going to beat me up. Because that's where I used to be for 19 years. It was not a year, it was not 2 years, it was 19 years. So when I decided to kind of let go of that, our relationship got better.
Okay.
But
There's
it's
also a
sad.
difference between, like, just because you learned from your experience does not necessarily mean that you're taking it out on the next person.
Right.
But it's sad that I did. You understand? Like, I had moments where we would be playing, and I'll be like, and crying. So it's like, I cannot have anybody like to come like even do this to me till today. From while I'm talking to somebody, if I'm not seeing you come, you're gonna get hit. Because I don't know what's coming to me. I still have that defense mechanism of a 19-year abusive relationship.
I tell you what, I was in a 10-year domestic violence relationship. And now what I've learned from it is every time somebody come to do this to me, I got my hands up ready to
Yeah, I'm
knock
like
them
this
out.
right away. I'm
No, that's a good thing.
I ain't say you shot your last baby daddy, I ain't for a mess. Let's bring it home, let's get up out of here.
All right, I want to thank the huddle for having us
Absolutely.
over here doing our live shows. We thank you guys. We appreciate your time. You guys opened up for us, and we greatly appreciate it.
Shout out to everybody that came through.
Please join us for the after party.
Thank you, Anthony. Thank you
Happy
so
5th
much.
anniversary, the huddle.
Thank you,
Bye,
everybody.
guys. Thank you.
Guys, don't forget,
See you
tune in.
Friday.
Is it next week?
Yeah, we back on next week at the studio.
Is it 4 or 7?
We'll figure that out. We'll
Okay,
get back
all
to
right,
you.
don't forget
But
to
again,
tune in.
shout out to everybody. If you are in the Tri-City area and you want to come party out tonight at 350 Passaic Ave in the Huddle, Nutley, New Jersey. At the Huddle, Nutley, New Jersey. They're celebrating their 5th year anniversary. Come out and have a great time with phenomenal DJs coming through. Thank you again for tuning in. I appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
Bye, everybody. Tune in for What is the Definition of Love on Friday at 7:30.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye, guys.